What's up, everyone? Welcome to Bluegrass State of Mind, the show where three college roommates talk life, sports, and all the ridiculous things that happen in an apartment we like to refer to as Room 302. We're bringing you stories, hot takes, and the kind of late-night debates that probably should have stayed in the group chat.
So grab your headphones, sit back, and get ready for a wild ride through our past college life, sports, and everything in between. Let's get into it. This is Bluegrass State of Mind.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Bluegrass State of Mind. We are glad you are joining us in, whether it be on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, regardless of where you're listening or watching from. As always, we appreciate you all. Make sure to like, subscribe, share with a friend. We would love to gain some more followers. We love talking sports, Kentucky stuff, and just enjoying life with each other and sharing our stories with you. Boys, we got to talk about it. It was not down, but we got to talk about it. I've had a few people ask me, like, how did the round go for Colton's little bachelor trip? Because we set the over-under stuff. So I'm throwing that for a surprise. So I'm going to start things off. I think my over-under was 79. And was that right? Was that what I said? And
Yeah.
This wasn't a shamble. And for the ones who don't know what shamble is, you take the best drive of the group. And I was really north of that. Really, really north.
Bad day.
It was a really bad day. But you know what? I look back and here's my excuse. I was not right mentally. Mason can explain a little bit, but I can do the short end of the stick of it, and Mason can explain maybe a little bit more about like how much it was affecting me. So step up on hole one. Decent. I mean, I had a good drive, and from there we didn't use it, but it was playable. Then my second shot wind was howling too. Granted, took a double. That's okay. Next hole was bogey. I'm okay with that. I was like, okay, well, we still got, plenty of golf to play. Well, after the second hole, I realized I had lost my A wedge. And for anybody who knows me, if you don't know me, like I know they do, that they are like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Dylan, it doesn't surprise us. But for the ones out there who don't know me, that kind of stuff really gets to me. I have a big problem. Like if I lose something, I'm very OCD. I've got to know where stuff is. Mason's told stories about before where he would mess with my room and I'd walk in and I know exactly. Still to this day, Claire, I'll walk in and she's moved something. I'm like, where's so-and-so at? And she's like, I moved. I was like, why'd you move it? So played, what was it, Mason? 7 or 8 holes until I finally was able to locate it was on the driving range.
Yes.
And then as soon as I found it, parred a 235-yard par 3. But, that really affected me. So I'm going to take that. And the back wasn't as bad whatsoever. I actually played decent. I mean, not great still by no means, but it was a lot better than the front. I don't know if I took a single score the first after that second hole, probably 4 holes until we found that A wedge. So, yeah, it was way north of 79. I lost count. But it was the first, other than one time before that, first real golf outing. So hopefully I can get right before our big trip. Colton, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember what I set mine at, 83 or 81.
81, I think. 81.
Of course, that was playing on. I shot 7 over. I actually hit the ball pretty well. I had 3 birdies, had a couple other decent looks. Birdied one. I birdied the par 3 with the driver.
You birdied the hole that I parred on the front.
I hit it to like 8 foot with a driver, and made it. And then I hit a driver on the backside, par 3, too, and also hit it to like 30 foot on that one. Hit the green both times. I hit driver on par 3. The wind was howling, just for you all. I mean, like I don't hit it nowhere, but it was still playing like close to like 240 both to par.
It was.
But I hit the ball
start
well.
off the season right, though.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking
I hit the
about.
ball well. I'm not gonna short game struggle. Really, if the short game was there, I really had a chance to. I had a chance to be more of a 3 or 4 because I think 2 or 3 of those were like 3 putts and a couple just were what should have been simpler up and downs, just kind of like chunk of chip or something, just didn't hit it. Just a lack of feel for not playing.
Yeah.
But contact buds, I'll take it for
though.
the first round in a couple months. I'll take it.
Yeah. Mason?
Well, as you both know, and everybody out there listening probably knows by now, worst part of my game is off the tee. So off the tee, I did not hit it well, but other than that, I played really well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I hit my under for sure. I think I set my over under at like 85, 86. But I was playing shamble. I was like one under through the first 6 holes, I think.
Yeah,
One under
Mason,
or
you did
even
play
through the
well.
first 6 holes. But yeah, I mean, I had a couple birdies. I don't think I had anything more. I think I might have doubled one hole, maybe.
I think if there was one thing that I think that you could have helped you even go lower is I think you had maybe I know for sure two. I don't know if you
I
had
had a
more than
bunch of
that.
lip
Two,
outs.
well, live out, but they were three putts. You had opportunities to really to not go again low, but you struck the ball very well.
Yeah, I hit the ball
And,
well
and
for the first time
so
out all season.
hopefully though transitioning into our next big trip that's going to be happening a little bit over a month uh, with the boys with our annual trip. Hopefully we all are playing. I mean, we ain't gonna be playing our best because we just ain't playing much. I was sitting here thinking about when can I play again, and it's just not gonna be much. So but anyways, it was a good time with the boys. Enjoyed celebrating Colton. So yeah, that was a good time, and we're looking forward to the next one. All right, let's get into Kentucky. So on Tuesday night, Kentucky had a must-win game. It was one of those scenarios where it was honestly, it felt like if we lose, we could possibly be on the bubble of making the tournament. If we win, it's kind of like, okay, we're in the tournament. And that was the feeling I had all day, all week actually, and I'm sure you all did too. But we come up, it wasn't a pretty game. We went live a little bit and talked a little bit about it, but it doesn't matter. We got the win. That was the most important thing. Kentucky goes into South Carolina and beats them of a score of 72-63. Couple of highlights in the game was Denzel Aberdeen, what I guess was our MVP, I guess, per se, not only on points, but just for the entirety of the game. Finished with 19 points, had 4 rebounds, and had 5 assists with 0 turnovers. We'll touch on that a little bit here, a little bit more. Then you had Mohamed Diabate, who also had a really good game, had finished with 12 points, 4 rebounds, and there were 4 crucial rebounds. And then after that, it kind of was a spread amongst everybody. Colin Chandler finished with 10 points with 3 assists. Andre Yelovich had a decent game, 11 points. He also contributed to 3 rebounds. And then Otega Owe, the guy who's kind of been our most consistent player all season, kind of had, I guess, his worst game in a long time, if not his worst game of the year. Finished only with 8 points and really just couldn't get much in a groove. He was 3 for 13, but he did have 4 rebounds and finished with, let's see here, 3 assists. So he was still trying. I mean, he was still in the game doing his thing. He did play 37 minutes. I told Mason, laughing about it, is that he played 37 minutes. So if he wouldn't have played maybe the extra minute, we may, or 2 minutes, we, could have lost. I don't know. So I guess the biggest thing, Mason, let's start with you. Kind of looking at the stats, what maybe was something that stood out to you? Just not the team stats, but just the player. Let's start there, and then we'll get into some team stuff. What was maybe one big thing that stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, one big thing that stood out to me, and I don't have the other box scores in front of me, but I mentioned a little bit on the live the other night is Denzel Aberdeen, how well he's taken care of the ball recently. For him to be thrown into this role to be this team's point guard, wasn't really expected to be the starting point guard. I think he's done a great job recently of taking good care of the ball, finding the right people, making the right decisions. And I think, that's something we're going to need going down the stretch. We looked back at I think it was the Auburn game where we had maybe it was the South Carolina game where we had 14 turnovers. I think we had quite a few in the Auburn game. Being able to take care of the ball is important for this team as much as we struggle to score at times. So just I brought it up the other night too about him having the ball in his hands down the stretch and making the right decisions. We've seen several games this year where he's been able to go get a bucket for us. Colin Chandler's knocked down some big threes, but I think that's been my biggest takeaway is get the ball in his hands and let him make the right decision. Like find the open person. He doesn't really force anything, doesn't turn the ball over when it gets down to that stretch.
Coach, what was maybe the biggest takeaway for you as far as individually?
Uh, little mixture. Obviously, I think it was just kind of a setup type game. I mean, South Carolina is the worst team in the SEC. You've come off back-to-back losses against two hard-fought games, especially the heartbreaker at Auburn on Saturday, and you've got Vandy coming to your house on Saturday, the next Saturday, and so this game is sandwiched in between on the road. So to me, it was just a mixture, right? Like I really saw a really good effort out of Diabate, Aberdeen, but you also kind of saw a little lackadaisical effort more so out of like Owe and Chandler kind of disappeared for the majority of the game. He hit a three like in the beginning of the game. He hit a three at the end of the game,
What
and
happened in between?
in between, just kind of disappeared. I saw where like we went on a stretch where we didn't score much, and Yelovich was one of like two players to score over a cross of like I can't remember how long of a stretch it was, like 17 minutes or something like that. He was only one of two players to score, pretty much like him and Aberdeen across like a 17-minute stretch. And then I saw he didn't even play the last 13 minutes.
No, didn't see the
Yelovich
court.
didn't. So, it was just a weird mixture because you got a good effort out of a couple guys. The most important thing, you came out with a win, but the effort thing kind of worries me just because it's not the first time we see it, right? It's been there, and we've talked about it all season long. Like when we play with the fire and the effort defensively, like that's what we have to do now. Given that we don't have that much just true basketball talent on the team, we have to have that fire and effort, defensive effort, and at times we just haven't seen it this year, and so it caused that game to be a lot closer than what it should. I mean, just how many times were we just like launching threes when we had the clear domination of like inside height and athleticism, and yet we just pulling threes. Like that to me, that's a lackadaisical mindset. That's like I'm just going to shoot it because I don't really care.
Yeah. I think transitioning into the team stats, the biggest worry, because when you look at this, okay, when you look at this game itself, the score was 72-63. We won by 9 points, but when it was at the 3 minute mark, we were only up 2 points, and we had to have we made a basket, and then Chandler hit that big time three to put us up 7. So that was huge. And then from there, it was kind of pretty much sealed the deal, and it was over. But just looking at the team stats, you look at, okay, paint. We outscored them in the paint 34-20. Second chance points, we had 14 to their 4. Fast break points, we had 26 to their 7. Bench, we had 16 to their 9. As far as rebounding goes, we out rebounded them 48-28, and we had 18 offensive rebounds to only their 5. So we out rebounded them only on the offensive rebound by 13. The free throws were about the same, and 3-point field goals, we made one, or they made one more than us. So it's like, okay, what is it that caused us to only win by 9? Like you look at those stats, you think, okay, we won by 15 plus. I mean, that I would think that anybody who knows anything about basketball, you're hearing those and seeing those stats, you're like, what is it that's missing? The biggest thing that that's standing out to me is our turnovers. We had 18 turnovers to South Carolina. You just can't do that. I know it's on the road. You can get away with 13 turnovers, 14 possibly, but 18 turnovers to the worst team in the SEC, that's just not paying attention to details, lackadaisical, silly turnovers. And the thing about it with this team, from our end, watching it, and everybody saw it, it wasn't just one or two dudes. It was a collective group of everybody, whether it be starters, bench players, guards, bigs. So moving forward, Mason, what do we need to do better? I mean, as far as our turnovers, because you say, okay, we play Vanderbilt Saturday. If we have 18 turnovers, it's going to look identical as the last game. We're going to get beat by, what was it, 25 we got, or 28 we got beat by, something like that. And this is going to be at Rupp. You just, that's not a recipe for success whatsoever. So what is it that maybe we need to do differently?
Your guess is as good as mine. I feel like this team struggles so much with turnovers because so hard for us to score. So we're trying to force things, right? Like we're trying to go between two guys, or we're trying to get in the lane, or we're trying to create, and that's not what this team can do. And I saw something the other day on X, and somebody had pointed out, it seems like every time after a timeout, or a media timeout, or we call a timeout, or other team calls a timeout, we come out and we have some set drawn up out of that timeout, and it's a good set. We score off of it, we get a great look. Why are we not doing that more? Like I don't really understand why, if we can come out of a timeout and have this set, why do we not have 7 to 8 sets a half that you can run whenever you need a bucket, right? Like that's what we talk about so much is this team just struggles offensively. We go through these scoring droughts and we're trying to force things. That's why we're turning the ball over. I don't understand why we haven't adapted and figured out, okay, if we're going through a scoring drought, they're on a 6-0 run. Basketball's a game of runs. Let's limit this run. Let's call a timeout. Let's get into the huddle. Let's draw something up. Let's get a good look and let's get back in the flow of the game. So for me, I think it's just this team trying to force things and create things because we struggle so much to score in the half court.
Well, you bring up a good point. And Colton, whenever he's talking about forcing turnovers, so obviously when we watch him, we see as a coach, you look and you see your team have turnovers. It's never a good thing, but that's just part of the game. It's going to happen. But there's, I think, a big difference in aggressive turnovers and just lazy turnovers and forcing it, and it's not coming natural. To me, when I'm watching this game, you should look, okay, oh wait, you better book it. If there was a bet that you wanted to bet, you better bet and book it that Owe is going to dribble the ball off his knee going into two or three people at some point. Okay. Yelovich is going to get the ball in transition and try to make something happen. He don't have the best ball handling skills whatsoever. He looks like he's blind and doesn't know what's going on with the ball when he does get it in transition. I just don't understand what his thought process is. He's going to turn it over. Jasper. Jasper is not aggressive whatsoever. He's just making such lazy passes. So for me, when I'm looking at these turnovers, they just don't seem like they're aggressive turnovers where it's a Denzel Aberdeen driving to the basket, turns, and then just mishandles it. It's just silly, lazy, lackadaisical turnovers. I mean, am I the only one seeing that? What are you seeing there?
Yeah, no, I mean it's the same thing that I've just talking about the effort, man. Like it's what I've seen. There's just been too many games this season where I've seen that type of it. Like I mean, they just don't. Like it's a completely different team when they get to play like that. And it'd be one thing, like if you'd have told me, like I feel like a lot of teams have these type of games that we had against South Carolina, where the road game against a not very good team is sandwiched in between a couple big games, and we just don't come out as sharp, and you don't hit as much early, and they hit more than what they normally do, and you just kind of get down. But it's hard for me to sit there and be like, chalk it up to just that when I've consistently seen their bad performances have a lot to do with effort, right? I witnessed just one of the worst efforts I'd seen at that Gonzaga game. Mason was there. I mean, it was embarrassing to watch those guys not care, knowing how much money they're making. And you just get a sense of that when you get into those type of games. Like when you see those type of turnovers and those type of passes, and you're just like, the shot selection the other night, I was just like, man, you really don't care. Like at this point, like and that's tough because it's one thing. Obviously, you're getting, but it's just tough to know that you got a coach that is
Cares
so
so much.
passionate about the university, like that Pope is, and so it stinks because like if that's not the message that's being relayed, and they're not truly receiving it, because to me that was going to be his thing that he could bring to it. Like obviously he's a smart guy, and I think he's decent at X's and O's, although we haven't seen it nowhere near what we saw it last year, what we thought we saw it. But if he's not able to get them to play with that type of passion, then we really don't got it because we're not out there because we're surrounded with a bunch of shooters or surrounded with a bunch of NBA talent. So the one thing we have is the effort, right? And if we don't have it, I mean, this team ain't going to go very far.
Yeah, and I mean that's what it comes down to with this team. If we're gonna make a deep run, it's gonna have to be based on effort, being the leader of that, and kind of being the train right there at the top of it, leading us down the road to March. But we need to give credit to them. This was one of those games. I don't think it necessarily was a trap game because a trap game was more of your Georgia game where you're playing good and that other team comes in and has a chip on their shoulder. They have to do something. This was one of those games that we had to win. As much as we're saying, like they didn't give the best effort, that was. I mean, I would hope and expect that Pope. I didn't listen to much of his press game, his post game conference, or his show, but I think that was something that he would probably say, like, hey, guys, we didn't have our best stuff tonight. And that's okay. I mean, it is because at the end of the day, we were able to pick up a big time win. When looking at the plus minus, everybody was in the plus category except for Andre Yelovich. Leading the way was Mohamed Diabate. He had a plus 16. So, just we got the job done. And that was the most important thing was leaving South Carolina with a win. Hopefully this is one of those games like, you don't like to see, but at some point it could come up on us. So hopefully we've got that game over with. Now it's time. We've got 3 quad win games upcoming. We're could have a huge run here as far as, what it goes into our seeding and, going into the SEC tournament, getting away from playing on Wednesday. I don't know if that's possible right now, and because a lot of it's going to be based on other teams' performance, but we'll get into that a little bit later on tonight. But overall, we got the win, and that was the most important thing. Is not really how you got it. Obviously, we would have loved to have seen us play better, but we did get the win, so that was huge. So moving forward, looking at the pros and cons of the last 4 games, I think that was a very interesting topic that Colton decided for us to talk about tonight. So, Colton, since you chose that topic, you said let's list some pros and cons that we've seen over the last 4 games. Now, granted, we are 1-3 in the last 4 games, so let's try to, obviously there's going to be cons, but let's stay as positive as we can. And let's start out with the cons. Colton, myself, and Mason, we're going to list a con. I've got 2 of them, so if one of y'all take one, I got a backup. But Colton, since you proposed this, you start us off with what's one con that you've kind of seen the last 4 games.
Yeah, I truly my con is that we're completely down to a 6-man roster. If you want to be honest with you, that's one con. Like I'm noticing, like Noah is not hitting shots and getting really good looks. Garrison, I'm not gonna say he's just been. I mean, he's not. He just can't finish, and he makes a lot of like low IQ plays. He does have some times where he rebounds and he plays with a little decent effort, so I'll give him that. But he don't provide a whole lot, which stinks because Moreno's not like great offensively, so you're not getting anything out of big man. And then Jasper just seems to be scared or just not ready for the physicality, like he's still playing in high school. And so when you take those away, and on top of the 3 injuries we have for what was supposed to be a 13-man roster is all of a sudden looking 6.
Isn't it
And
ironic,
so,
though, how that's worked? Like, where we built this team and everybody's like, why do we have so many people? Why have we used so much money with all these guys that are going to be able to come in and help? And I even remember calling in on KSR when we had our scrimmage
the
against
Purdue
Purdue.
game,
And I was saying, like, it's so refreshing to be able to have guys come off the bench and be able to produce. And now here we are down to a 6-man roster.
yeah.
Wow. That hit me fast. So, Mason, what's a con? I know you can add on to Colton's because I saw you shaking your head. I'm sure that may have been one of yours, or you're just in total agreement with it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's one of the biggest things because, like you said, Cody. I mean, you look at Trent Noah, non-existent the last 4 games. Jasper Johnson been pitiful the last 4 games. Can't handle the ball. Makes dumb, low basketball IQ decisions. You know, BG is BG. I mean, he has flashes where he looks okay, but 95% of the time he's just out there running around, and I don't know what's going on up in between here, if there's anything really there, but it seems like he doesn't know what's going on half the time, just out there without a care in the world. So yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I mean, that was one of mine. Is how long are what's our rotation going to be like? Dylan, we've talked about the OA playing 38 minutes. I don't think he can right now, but I think once we get into maybe the SEC tournament, yeah, I'd say starting the SEC tournament, like you're going to have to play these top 6 guys 30 plus minutes a game. Like Trent Noah, Jasper Johnson, and BG don't need to hardly see the floor. So we'll see what Pope does there. But on top of that, we've touched on it a little bit tonight. But going back to the Florida game, turnovers. I think we've had double-digit turnovers in our last 4 games. And you look back at the Florida game. Let's say we take away 3 of those turnovers. It's a different ball game there at the end of the game. Maybe we get it down to within 1 or 2, and who knows what happens. We won a lot of close games this year. Think about the Auburn game.
Yeah.
We probably win that game if we take away a couple turnovers.
And 2 of these games, I know it's on the way, but Auburn and South Carolina are at the bottom of the poll in SEC right now. So it wasn't like
Yeah.
we've played a Florida and Arkansas back to back in the past 4 games, or a Florida and Vanderbilt. We've been playing. We had Florida, but other than that, we've had
Yeah.
middle pack and bottom pack of the SEC.
Yeah, but I mean that's one of the cons because you think about like this team, the way that we play and the style that we play, that gritty kind of grind it out, rely on getting some offensive boards, getting out in transition. Like we've seen, we can play with Florida. We could possibly lead anybody, but I'm going to say maybe the top 4 teams in the country. Those 1 seeds, I think. But if we're turning the ball over, we can also lose to anybody in the country. So we'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
Well, so my con, it's kind of vice versa. So I'm gonna do my con, and then I'll start off with the pro because it's a perfect. It segues into what is my pro. But so my con is going to be just the inconsistency of our big man. I think that that's something that is really hurting us right now. When I think of big men, I'm not talking even about Debate. I'm talking about Marino, Yelovich, and Garrison. You just really know you just never know what you're going to get out of those 3 guys. Um, Obviously, Marino is our most consistent guy, but over the past couple of games, the physicality of some guys has started to get to him. It seems like Yelovich, he could have a 11.5 rebound game like he did, and even at that, he didn't play the last 13 minutes of the game at South Carolina, or he could have a 4-point game and 2 rebound game, and then out of nowhere he might play the last 2 minutes. Which actually, no, I guess he don't ever finish the game. But you just never know. You honestly never know what you're going to get out of those guys. So I think that's for me, other than possibly Garrison. There's not much that you know that you're ever going to get sometimes. I don't know. I hate to be like a Debbie Downer, but man, he struggles. But that's the inconsistency of our big men, and I think it's going to really hurt us moving forward if we can't find any consistency at all. And you've seen that the last 4 games. But however, my pro is that, man, our guards are playing. There's really can't be much said about especially our 2 guards in Oway and Aberdeen. So over the past 4 games, Aberdeen is averaging 16.75 points per game, and Oway is averaging 19.5 points per game. I just don't know how much more you can ask for out of a backcourt, especially where we're at this point of the season, knowing that we are out our starting point guards. So our guards are playing, and we talk about March, we talked about it ever since we started this podcast, and even before the podcast. Guards win in March. So that gives me a little confidence is that over the past 4 games and pretty much all season long, other than that first quarter of our season, Aberdeen and Oway are performing at a high level. So that's something that gives me comfort moving forward. And in the past 4 games, so that would be my pro, is our guards are playing really well. Mason, what would be your pro?
Yeah, just to kind of harp on that. I agree completely with the guards. We've seen Colin Chandler been hot. He's had a couple bad games recently, but he's been shooting the lights out in SEC play. Shooting it well from 3. Like you said, Denzel Aberdeen and Oway have been scoring it well, so it gives me some confidence. I know that we've talked about it. We're very reliant upon those 3, and whenever one of them struggle, it seems to be a closer game. But if they can get hot for a little six game stretch, who knows what could happen come around March. But I think one of the other pros is just how resilient this. I know I feel like we keep saying this, but just how resilient this team has been. Like they've been through a lot this season, a lot of ups and downs, right? And this team just keeps coming back. They keep fighting, keep finding ways to win. And I think that's big in March, especially when you think about like these Cinderella runs. Like if we come out in our first game in March in the NCAA tournament and we get down 12, right? Like we're probably going to be panicking a little bit, but at least we know like, hey, this team's going to keep fighting. They're probably going to come back and cut it close. So I think that's the biggest thing. And then just going back to that Florida game, like I just keep thinking Florida is playing so well right now, so well, and we are still. I think we've been the team that's played them the closest over the last like month and a half, 2 months. Like Texas was playing them pretty well the other night, but they ended up losing by 15.
Yeah.
Like we had it down to 2 or 3 there in the second half and only ended up losing by 8 or 9. So I think we can play and beat some teams. Just we're gonna have to rely on those guards.
Well, and you can look at that as a pro and a con, because I think Kegan Grace had mentioned it on our live. He's like, we play down to our level sometimes, but we also can play up to the level of competition. So, I mean, that's a pro and a con in itself. Colton, Endis, what's a big pro for you, buddy?
To me, although it seems like our lineup is limited now, I will say I feel like the top 6 guys know their roles. I've been more impressed with how Diabate has slowly just worked into a role of where, hey, go in there and get rebound. Like at the beginning of the season, it seems like he settled for some threes. He didn't get in there, and then it's like he kind of lost some playing time there. He got benched a little bit, and I think it was a wake up call for him. And so I feel like he knows his roles. I feel like Aberdeen and Oweh have figured out how to be like co-guards without being true point guards, right? And neither one is a true point guard, but they figure out how to feed off each other and the way to get theirs, without having a true point guard. And Chandler, I think understands his role as, hey man, if I get a decent look, I'm going to pull the trigger, which I think is a problem in Noah's too. Yes, he's got to hit a lot of those shots. He's also very hesitant. Right, there's ones that it seems
get
like
the
he's
confidence,
ready.
man.
He don't pull the trigger, which is why you're in there. And so like Chandler, I feel like pulls the trigger. So because he knows without Cam Williams and without some of these, like Cam and Aberdeen are essentially our only 3-point threat if Noah's not going to hit. So to me, the pro is that I do feel like the top at least 6 know their roles and are playing them pretty efficiently. If you combine it with the effort, yeah, I mean, look, they can knock out a team. If a team don't bring it, now here's the problem is if a team has their best also, even at our best and another team's best, that's where we run into an issue, right? But you catch a team off not their best, yeah, you can make a run if you have the effort because I think you've got guys that understand their roles now, and those role players can, you can make a run off that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, speaking of runs, that's what's going to take us into our next segment here, and one that I think for you all, the listeners and viewers out there, is something that you really will enjoy this little segment. But looking at the ahead for March, what's the best case scenario for Kentucky to make a deep run? And I'm kind of going to lead this, and then I'm going to let y'all stop me at any time if you all disagree with something or if something's not right, because I have done a little research on it, and I'm going to turn it over to y'all to let's not debate but talk about it. So obviously, it's the field of 68, March Madness. You're looking at teams ranked from 1 to 16. So in that first round, you got the 1 and 16 faces, the 2 and 15, the 3 and the 14, the 4 and 13, the 5 and 12, 6 11, 7 and 10, and 8 and 9. Looking at our seeding on what is the best possible avenue for us to make a deep run. And again, it's kind of like, what do you consider a deep run? That might be different for everyone. But to me, I think our best avenue and opportunity would be looking at a 7 spot and a 7 seed. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, well, you got to look at realistically, what are we going to be? Realistically, right now, we're looking at probably either being a 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 seed. I think 10 is probably not possible, but I think you're really looking at the 6, 7, 8, 9 spot, depending on what we do these next couple games. Now, why do I say 7? Well, if we do land that 7 seed, we'll be matched up with the 10 seed. Okay, now you're looking at that, and we can beat a 10 seed. Not easily, depending on who it is, but we can handle that 10 seed. So then moving forward, we're going to be able to match up with the winner of the 2 and 15 seed. Biggest thing for me, and I think we've all agreed on this, is we got to stay away from the 8 and 9 slot to where we don't have to play that 1 seed. The 1 seed is here, and then your 2 seeds, there's a big drop. Not a huge drop off, but it's a pretty good little drop off. So moving forward, if we were to get that 7 seed, we're looking at facing a 10 seed, and if we win that, we'll play the winner of the 2 and 15 seed. So then you're looking at the 10 seed first round, likely a 2 seed that second round, and I think the upsets are open for us to win at the 2 seeds, and then we at least would avoid having to play a 1 seed up until the Elite 8. Now, the thing about that is that, well, who's the 2 seed? So right now, I know Purdue just lost, but in Joe Lunardi's most recent bracketology, the 2 seeds at the moment were UConn, Houston, Illinois, and it was Purdue, but I'm going to go ahead and throw 2 other teams in there, probably looking to be a Florida, Virginia, or Nebraska. Sorry, 3 teams. So, I mean, you all just tell me, do you all agree that a 7-seed slot would probably be feasible, and could realistically we could be a 7 seed? Or do you all think that we're looking at a better seeding somewhere else? And talk to me about what your thoughts are.
I think if there's a way that we could get to a 6 seed, I would like that better. Just because, like, I don't like a matchup with Illinois. I don't like a matchup with UConn. You know, I think if we could draw one of those 3s, you know, in the second round, maybe a little bit better chance there. But I don't know how realistic it is with us getting to a 6 seed unless we win out, right? And I don't know if that happens. So yeah, I agree. I mean, I think by all means we have to stay away from that 8-9 seed, because you look at the top. We've said it all along. You know, like your Arizona, your Michigan, your Dukes. Like they're levels above everybody else right now in my eyes.
Yeah.
Right. And I just feel like all 3 of those teams could beat us by 20 plus right now. Now, if they come out and have a terrible night, you know, and be able to keep it close, but I still think we lose. But I think any other team, you know, you get hot in March, you know, we could beat some of those 2 seeds and some of those 3 seeds. So yeah, I agree with you, Dylan. They're on that 6-7 line, but we got to stay away from that 8-9.
Well, let me transition this to you, Colton. So, I mean, obviously, people are like, well, why wouldn't you want the 6 seed? Why did you say 7 seed? For me, it was more of the realistic thing that Mason said. Right now, we were looking, I think Joe already has as an 8 seed, I believe. That just recently came out. So, for me, I chose the 7 just because I don't know if we can get to that 6 seed spot. Now, we go and we win 2 out of these next 3 games and win 2 games in the SEC tournament, then yes, I think the 6 seed is absolutely in play. But realistically speaking, Colton, what are the chances that you foresee? And just be honest. I mean, do you think it's more of an opportunity that the 7's there, or can we go get a 6 seed? I mean, could we?
So if I haven't seen the latest net rankings on, I can't remember where we fell on Monday or when the AP come out Monday, before we played South Carolina, of course, coming off 3 straight losses. But I mean, we were in the top 25, right, before we lost to
Right, we were 25.
Florida, before we lost to Florida. And so you essentially
No, we were
lost 3
25 when we
games.
played to Georgia.
No, we
still
fell out.
ranked.
We fell out, I think, after we lost to Florida.
Oh, did we? I thought we were
I'm
25.
pretty sure.
Yeah,
I think
I
we
was
got
like,
in.
that's crazy.
So let's just say the Florida loss wasn't that bad. You played them close on the road, so you probably just fell out. But you're probably like the 28th ranked. After Georgia, you probably fell to somewhere in like the low 30s. After Auburn, you're probably still just like almost mid 30s, maybe still low 30s. And now you're probably somewhere around low 30s is what I say after winning South Carolina. So you're looking at the top 24 teams being your 6 seed. So you would need to jump about 7 or 8 spots. If you win Vandy and Florida and a game in the SEC at least, or get 2 games in the SEC, I mean, I think it's possible. Yeah. I mean, I think that you're going to have 2 big wins over quad 1 wins, and plus you might pick up another 1 or 2 in the SEC tournament. I mean, you finish your season with 3 or 4 more quad wins, it's going to be hard to not jump probably 5 or 6 spots, assuming that some of those teams around that area also lose. 6 would be awesome because I do think we could play a 3 seed like a Texas Tech without JT Toppin.
Yeah.
I would take Texas Tech. I don't know that we beat them. I'm not saying they're still not good, but yeah, I mean, give us a chance to play Texas Tech. I do think, let's just say we fall into the 7, though. I would like to I think I would want to face like a Houston. And although Houston defensively would be really rough on us, they just play such a similar game where they struggle offensively. If Fleming doesn't score, they struggle. Like, they don't have another guy that just goes and gets a shot. It's just very similar to us. And so I don't think Houston could run away from us. Like, I think they would be a 2 seed that as long as we have the max effort, they're not going to kill us because they don't have the offense to run away from us. So if you can get into that 7 seed, you hope to knock away a 10 and you draw like a Houston. I mean, I think it'd be a toss-up game. I really do. I mean, it'd be tough, but I mean, I think we could play with them.
Well, you don't want to. I don't think anybody wants to see UConn right now, and also don't think we want to have no business looking at Florida again, because then that could possibly be our fourth time playing them. And then Illinois, they look really good. I've not watched enough games of, say, Purdue doesn't get that 2 seed, and you have a Virginia or Nebraska who pops in that 2 seed. Not watched them enough. I know Nebraska has had a good season, but I just don't think they have played a ton of teams. Well, I say that, and I have not looked at their record. It's the Big Ten, which is decent this year. However, though, I just don't want to see UConn and Florida for sure if they're in those 2 seed spots. So, just something interesting to consider and think about, because I mean, March is right here, fellas. I mean, it is the best time of the year. Man, I mean, have y'all seen that promo? Take or give it away. That was it. What's his name? The country music star that sings that, Zach Brown. I think that's who sings it. Where he sings "Give It Away," and that's the promo. Have y'all seen that, or y'all look at me like I have no idea what you're talking about?
I mean, the only "Give It Away" I can think of is like those, like
Give It
like
Away.
George Strait, like George Strait song, or that's all. I don't know about Zach Brown, but
maybe I'm not.
Yeah, that's the song I'm thinking of makes them. But
well, there's a song that just came out that was like that is the song for March Madness up until I guess the very ending where a shining star plays. But I'm pretty sure it's Zach Brown where he's like, "Give it away, just give it away," and they're that's on X right now, and everybody's like, "Man, how awful are you going to feel watching that if you give your game away and it says give it away?" I just, it'd be pretty
I'll have
sad.
to go back and watch it.
Well, I'm gonna look it up while Colton, you lead us into your little game questionnaire, because I don't want to sound crazy on here. I want to make sure that's what it is.
All right, a little game tonight. I thought it'd be fun to have to choose one of a certain few of these questions. So you can only choose one, which I thought were all kind of difficult questions to do. So let's, I
want to take a timeout. Take a timeout.
Okay,
I was correct. Zach Brown Band, "Give It Away" has been selected as the official anthem for the 2026 NCAA tournament. Y'all are going to have to look at it here after the podcast episode. And for those who have not seen it, it's good. I like it. It's a little different. Now you can continue. Sorry, I had to break it up. I just didn't want to sound crazy.
Okay. Anyhow, all right. So the first question, you can only choose one of these, or you have to choose one. And the first question is, if you could only listen to one singer the rest of your life, who would it be? So, Mason, you want to kick us off with this one?
One singer. Oh man, I'm just gonna go one of my favorites. Has a lot of good hits. Kind of hot right now. I'm gonna go Luke Combs.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a staple. I mean, my mind initially went there. Some others, and I may end up still going there here in a minute. But I mean, he's a staple right now.
Yeah, a lot of good songs. Kind of different. A lot of songs with different kind of beats too, and so
that's true. What about you, TG?
So I'm gonna throw it a little bit different. I was going to go with a country music star, but I've really been on a kick on his songs. Me and the boys, specifically more so Hayes than Tripp, because Tripp is he's only one. But we've been listening for quite a while now. I'm gonna go with Forrest Frank. I don't know if y'all have ever listened to any of his stuff, but he is it's like a Christian pop. I'm sure you've heard some of his songs and you probably don't even know that's who sings them. But it's a good mixture. He has like that hip hop type to it, but it's also like one that is like a slow beat, can be kind of like not jazzy, but just like a good, like just good mood feeling. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Forrest Frank. For those who haven't listened to him, you'll need to give it a listen to sometime. He has a bunch of really good songs. You know that song, "Good Day"? We're gonna have a good day. Do you know that song? No. Okay.
Nope.
You're gonna have you're gonna have to listen to some. Oh, there was another song where they had that dance that it got TikTok famous, but I'll have to come back to it. Well, I don't have, but all the kids were doing it. You know what that is. I guarantee you, your nephew would know what song it was as soon as you started doing it. But what's yours then? Mine's Forrest Frank.
So mine came down to, I mean, I'm obviously going to go country, but I was real torn between like Eric Church and Morgan Wallen because I think I like some of the Eric Church songs better. Like there's a few songs of Eric Church's that I like a lot better than any other, but Wallen has kind of that same thing as Luke Combs. He has the variety of a couple upbeat songs and a couple slower songs, and like it would give you more variety. So I probably would say Morgan Wallen is probably pretty too common, but when you think about for the rest of your life, you're like, you better have a pretty good variety because I mean you're just going right into something. So I would go Wallen. So we
I was
got
going to go
Wallen
Morgan Wallen
and
if
Forrest
I had
Frank
to go.
and Luke Combs.
Okay,
That's
hey, real quick before we move on, you all know this song. Don't act like I'm dumb and sitting here like I don't know what you're talking about. Don't play it. It's that song that says, "Oh Lord, I need you now more than ever. Would you put my heart back
Oh
together?"
yeah,
Have you?
yeah.
Yeah, he
I got
sings
you.
that song. Yeah.
I got you. I got you. We're
Seriously,
good.
after our podcast, I think I don't know, Mason. You might I don't know. Y'all may not like it, but he has a good variety. It's really good and it's different. But go
I'll
ahead
check
with your
him
next
out.
question.
Okay. We'll listen to him. Everyone out there, shout out for Shrink.
I
Listen
mean,
to give it to him. All right. Number two. This one's going to be tough. If you could only watch one sport for the rest of your life, what would it be? Now this one's tough because we're talking. So you can't, if you chose football, you're giving up UK basketball for the rest of your life.
well,
I
that's what I was going to
mean,
ask
being
you.
able to watch it. No,
Is it just sport, or is it like it has to be like the national sport, the college sport? Like, how are we
no,
doing this?
it's
Are we
a
doing just
sport. So
okay?
like you could watch college football and NFL, but you couldn't watch any basketball ever. Even. I thought this would be interesting because we got a couple basketball guys in here, and we're all obviously love UK basketball. So man, so DG, I'll let you take this one first.
So this was actually a little harder for me because I mean, I know you all know, and for those who don't know me, but I mean, if you know me, like I'm a basketball guy through and through. That's where my heart's at. But it was actually tougher because the past 4 years, 5 years, like I mean, football has grown more and more and more and more. And like when you're talking about college game day, I don't even associate basketball with college game day. When I hear college game day, I immediately think of college football. Saturday mornings, crispy cold fall weather, like that's where I associate it with. And then professional sports. It's got to the point now where I would say this year I watched more NFL than I have NBA.
Like
Just
close
and
for me.
not because I like it better, but it's just more appealing. There's so many games with the NBA. It's so hard to keep up with. But with all that said, my heart is still with basketball. It's just the connection. Been doing it forever, and then back to college. And if I had to pick one, it'd be college basketball. But man, like I just love watching college basketball. I think that watching any game, you give me like just Kansas, for example. I can't stand Kansas, but man, watching the field house just go crazy on their big Monday games, SEC basketball for Kentucky at Rupp, like it's got to be basketball for me. It wasn't an easy decision though. It wasn't as easy as like, oh, duh, basketball. I actually had to think about. I was like, okay, what am I going to really want to watch for the rest of my life? And I don't know if I could go without basketball just because of everything that I've been through with it. So I'm gonna go basketball.
Makes sense.
This was tough for me as well because I'll be honest with you. I think that I probably enjoy watching football more. College football, NFL, I probably enjoy watching that more. But the thing that I come back to is like UK basketball. Like if we weren't a basketball school, this would be a very, very easy decision for me. But there's no way that I can give up watching UK basketball for the rest of my life. So I'm going with basketball. that's the driving factor is Kentucky, and me just being a lifelong Kentucky fan. But if it wasn't for Kentucky, I would have chose football.
No, I mean, look, I'll be honest with you, I'm torn because I'm in the same exact mindset. Like my mind goes immediately like I enjoy watching football more, and it goes my mind of like I I don't care at all about the NBA. Like I would never miss the NBA again if I never watched it. Like I'll watch the playoff stuff, but I would not miss it at all. So, but my mind also goes to like I go to several basketball games, like right, like I go to a Kentucky basketball game in person. I've been to the SEC tournament. Like, like I don't go to that many NFL games, and so the thought of giving up that stuff too. You know what? I'm like you, Mason. I don't think I can give up Kentucky basketball. I didn't think I was going to go this route when we first started, but just the more I think about it, I'm like, man, the fact of never watching Kentucky basketball or going to an in-person Kentucky game again or the SEC tournament ever again, like I could live with not going to a Titans game. I mean, I'm ripping the Titans, but I could live with not going to another Titans game. It's
Total
just
shade there.
football.
That's hilarious.
I think so. Yeah, I think I would go basketball too. So I think we're all in agreement there. I think that was a good one. I think we all think because it
Yeah.
also thinks we'll never get to watch the Masters again. Good thing this is hypothetical because it's Masters season, baby.
Let's go.
All right, final one. We're all from small town Kentucky. I mean, Henderson obviously is much bigger than what, but from Webster
I'm originally
County,
from
It's really
Kentucky.
Madisonville.
Webster County,
Madisonville ain't big at all.
Webster
No,
County,
Seabury.
and Seabury and Monroe. So we're never been the biggest city that we ever. I mean, we lived in Owensboro, which is fourth or fifth biggest city in Kentucky, but it still doesn't even really feel like a big city because there's quite a bit of farmland, and it's nothing compared to like a Lexington or Louisville as far as like traffic and the craziness that happens on those cities. So like my thought was, if you had to live in a city though, like if you had to actually live in a city, where would it be? Like a bigger city? I'm gonna go first on this one because I'm afraid Mason might steal mine. But I'm choosing Phoenix, man. I'm 100 for sure. I'm 100 for sure. Me and Mason went to Phoenix a couple weeks ago, and I mean the weather there. Granted, for 6 months it would be miserable because then it gets to like 110 in the summer or something. But for the other 6 months, from like October through March, I mean, you're talking about perfect weather, dry heat. I mean, the city itself is awesome. It's just so like back the views. I'm all in on Phoenix, man. I like if I had to retire, I would rather retire. You see, people like want to go down south of Florida to retire. No, give me during the winter. No, give me Phoenix during the winter. 100%. So
Interesting. I did not see that coming, but I
Go
guess it
ahead,
makes
Dylan,
sense
because
because
he
y'all was
stole
just there.
mine. So let me think.
Yeah, so this was one of those that I really didn't know how we were going to go. Like, if it was going to be one of those things, like, is it like one of those like top 10 cities in America, like your New York's, your Dallas, your Los Angeles, like those top cities, or was it going to be like like cities, but just not as big? So for me, it's nothing spontaneous whatsoever, like a Phoenix, but like I wasn't even thinking Lexington or Louisville, just because I don't consider it a huge city. Like it's city, but it's not like
right.
like just really big compared to some of the other ones. But for me, I was just like, I'm comfortable with it. It's within 2 hours. I would still be able to see family and stuff. I'm gonna go Nashville.
Oh, I'll
It's one of
take it.
those things where it's a big city, but it's really not. I don't think. Whenever you look at a comparison of a New York or a Dallas, even though I've never been to Dallas, but your Phoenix, like I can still be home within 2 hours, see family, still be a Tennessee fan and a respectable Kentucky fan, even being in Tennessee, just because it's right above us. So I'm gonna go Nashville. That's where I would go.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right.
I guess I hadn't really thought about Nashville. I mean, that probably would have been in my top two or three. Realistically, that's probably where I'd end up if I had to live in a city just to be close to home. But fantasy world, I'm going to Phoenix.
Um, I mean, originally I would say let's go took mine. Like, can't think of any others that I just like would absolutely like. I've been there and it's like, oh yeah, I love this place. I'd move there. So, I mean, I don't know if this is big enough, but I'd probably choose Lex just because of Kentucky, like being able to be there for all the games, being so close, just getting to experience, all the atmosphere, all the games. And if you don't want to count Lex, then I'd probably, they're probably kind of call me crazy, but I'd probably go New York City. I've been there once, but I really enjoyed it. And I think I would love living there. Just all the action. Like think about all the events and all the
I
stuff
hated New
going
York.
on.
It was
Really?
I did it for sightseeing. No, I loved it. It was like, whoa, like it's kind of like the first time I went to Vegas. It was like, wow, this is a different world. But living there, oh man, I could not imagine living in New York. Man, the amount you got to pay just to live in the city limits, and like it was, oh man, no, do not give me New York.
I'd do it.
Two different lifestyles. But anyways, so I have not a game, but something interesting. I'm sure you all have seen it. For the ones who are listening, you've probably seen it. If you've not, it's very interesting. So Max Kellerman, if you don't know who he was on ESPN First Take for a while. He has his own podcast called Game Over, and he had Rich Paul, who is an agent for multiple NBA guys. I guess his biggest one by far would be LeBron, but he also has a lot of Kentucky guys. But one thing that they had just recently, have y'all seen this? Y'all know what I'm talking about? Okay, it'll be good discussion then. So somebody had messaged him or sent him something about like, how can we fix the All-Star weekend again? We just fixed it. We just went to the World versus the USA. Somebody proposed that next year they do a Team USA, a Team World, and because there was 3 teams, so they would do a Team USA, a Team World, and a Team Kentucky. And at first, Rich Paul kind of was like, "What?" He was like, that wouldn't work." And he's like, and Mexico was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, like, listen, just hear me out." So looking at Team USA, you would have Steph Curry, LeBron James, KD, Anthony Edwards, uh, Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell. I'm sure there's 2 or 3, Tyrese Halliburton, some other guys that I may have missed, but that's typically what it would look like. For Team World, you'd have your Luka Doncic, your Nikola Jokic, Giannis, your Victor Wembanyama, Pascal Siakam, and probably a couple others. But then he said, now, hold on, listen to me. He said, listen to the Kentucky roster. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Devin Booker, Karl Anthony Towns, Tyrese Maxey, AD, Jamal Murray. And that's not even mentioning De'Aaron Fox, Anthony Davis, if I may have already said him, Tyler Hero. And the Rich Paul was like, hold on now. And I was like, realistically, we could compete.
And get the ratings up, I guarantee you that.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. That'd be the only time I'd watch the All-Star game
of all
I haven't
time,
watched the
probably.
All-Star game in years.
So
it's probably been 3 or 4, yeah.
Hearing those themes, I mean, honestly, I don't know how serious they would take it, because I think that was something that they tried fixing this year, and there were still at times where Team World and Team USA kind of didn't still take it serious. But, I mean, let's just say it wasn't All-Star Weekend. It was just the game itself. I don't know if Kentucky would win, but you best believe they would be competitive.
Man, Julius Randle.
That was another one I didn't even mention.
Bam. I didn't even mention Bam.
Yeah. Bam, man. Listen. I mean, I think if you threw out right now SGA, Tyrese Maxey, and Devin Booker as your 3 guards, like your 1, 2, and 3, essentially, and then you put a healthy AD and Cat, I mean, I'm taking, especially at the stage of their careers, that KD, LeBron, Steph, honestly, Anthony Edwards would be probably your most go-to guy on that team, of the starting 5. But after, I mean,
Team World would be kind of dominant. They would lack
but
some
I don't think they
play.
play defense, but they'd be dominant bigs. I mean, they dominate.
Victor, Giannis, and Nikola.
And Johnny. Yeah. No, they would dominate physically. But I mean,
is that not crazy though? Like, do y'all ever do we ever just sit back? do we ever sit back and realize that's how much talent we had? Not obviously in 1 year time, but I mean, within a 10 to 12-year span, how many just studs and dudes the University of Kentucky had?
Yep.
Listen,
And again, but here's the thing though. Mason was like, yeah. It kind of goes though both points. We still only won one national title, but then again, Mason, I would love to have one of those dudes, and we can't
Oh, so
even
would
get.
I.
We
So would
can't
I.
get a
that
single recruit.
that's the whole thing that I got into with Chad, because Chad will make fun of me for being like, "Oh, but you love just having hope for the next season." I was like, "Listen, I know that we should have won more, and I know that it sucks to lose, early games with some of the guys that we've had or not go all the way like we should have at times. But man, the type of love I have for knowing that we have those dudes going into an NCAA tournament, like man, it's awesome compared to like we're talking about.
We're spoiled.
Hey, we're hoping for the 7th seed. Like let's get the
Please
7th seed.
give us the
Yeah,
7
that's
so
a
we don't have to
completely
play.
different world the last 2 years. So I mean, yeah, we're not even talking about Shepard. Dillingham. Oh my goodness, Shepard's
Yeah.
balling. He dropped like 30 last night.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna bring
And then
in
you think back
a
even like
sharpshooter.
John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins. Like I know
Yeah.
they're not healthy now, but I mean,
We would have. Oh, we know we're for sure competing right now because I think we could outscore them. Like we
Yeah.
may
Yeah,
not. We may not
Somebody
can
had
stop them
mentioned.
inside, but our guards, I don't think could be stopped.
Somebody mentioned too, like I don't know necessarily that you would consider him a UK player, but Shaden Sharp too, because he's playing pretty good. He's had a pretty
Yeah.
good season so
All
far.
right, we'll put him as a 10th man. Like, I mean,
okay,
yeah.
We'll
Okay,
take
cool.
it.
Platoon system in the NBA.
All right, well, let's move into our last segment of the night. We're hitting up at the hour mark, so let's kind of do this in about 5 minutes or so. Predicting the next 3 games. Let's just kind of give what we think that our record would be, and realistically on that, and then maybe what would be at best. Mason, moving forward, obviously we have Vandy at home, then we go to Texas A&M, then we host Florida for the end of the regular season for the 25-26 regular season at Kentucky. What do you think that our record is? And we'll go across the board here, and then we can kind of get into what would be, ideal and what's the best we could do in that scenario.
yeah. I think our record. I think we're going to win Saturday against Vandy. I do think that Vandy's had a tough game against Georgia. I think it was last night. Georgia was right there in the game, had a chance to win it down the stretch. Good bounce back game for us after we got embarrassed down there the first time in Nashville. So I think we win at home against Vandy. I think we win on the road at A&M. I think it's going to be a tough kind of grinded out game, but I think we pull that one out because I don't think Texas A&M is great. And then I think that we are going to lose to Florida at home just because Florida is looking like another national championship team right now.
Yeah, I
So I'm
agree.
saying
Florida
2-1.
looks. I absolutely think Florida is looking really, really good right now. There's a couple of teams right now that are just firing on all cylinders, and Florida is one of them. I'm gonna go a
Gosh,
little bit
that'd be so
opposite
good.
though, and let Colton be the deciding factor for me. I think we do win Saturday at with Vanderbilt coming into Lexington. I do think though we are going to be who we are, and it's going to be up the hill, down the valley, up the hill, down the valley. You never know what you're going to get. We're going to go to Texas A&M and drop that game, and then we lose to Florida. And I think that we go 1-2 in the next 3 games.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I think the exact same. I do think we beat Vandy on Saturday, and then I think Texas A&M is in need of a big win. Come that night game at Texas A&M, I think that they're kind of falling down the line a little bit, and they've lost. They're pushing that 7, 8, 9 seed too. So I think that they're going to need a big win. And so I think that we fall at Texas A&M, and I do think that we play really hard against Florida at home. But ultimately, when I just keep thinking to myself, I'm like, unless like some craziness happens with Jasper, Noah, or someone or Brandon Garrison, I keep thinking about myself. I'm like, do we have
Just don't
enough
have enough. Yeah,
with
just
the
don't have
starting
enough.
5 and Diabate? Like, we don't have enough. Like, I feel like we can play as hard as we can, but we're not going to have enough. And I think
Florida
that's
just
what will
keeps
happen in the
hitting
Florida
you.
game. I think we'll play really hard, and I think we'll keep it really close. But ultimately, like, it'll be within like a 6-point game or something at the end, and they'll probably beat us. So I'm going to go 1-2 also. give us probably that probably means we play probably, I don't know,
Could be
Wednesday or
Thursday,
Thursday.
but looking at
Yeah,
Wednesday or Thursday for sure.
yeah.
Well, shifting gears just a little bit, what is it that we could do at best? And I'll start us off. I think at best, I think we split Vanderbilt or Florida one. I'm leaning more so, obviously, with Vanderbilt because I chose them, and we also beat Texas A&M. Um, in a world, is there a way that we end up beating both Vanderbilt and Florida and losing on the road? Yeah, that's what kind of season we've had. But regardless of the
Yeah.
situation, I see us going at best 2-1. I just can't see a 3-0 with these 3 games left. Colton or Mason, what do you got at best?
I mean, at best, it wouldn't surprise me if this team did come off and rattle 3 straight and then lose the first
Ooh,
game in the SEC tournament.
ooh.
Like come out and lose to like a Missouri first game in the SEC tournament again or something. I don't know who would play. We won't know till the end. But the way this team's been, I mean, I think we can beat all these teams. Just never know what you're going to get.
Box of chocolates. All right, Colton, at best, what
Yeah.
you got?
Yes. Yes, same. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me to actually win the 2 home games and lose to Texas A&M. Like, it just wouldn't surprise me to actually beat Vandy and Florida, pick up 2 random like wins that we didn't think we were going to win. Uh,
Kind of like
I,
Tennessee and
I,
Arkansas?
yeah, I just don't think that. I'm not going to say there's not a 3-0 road, but I mean, I would say I think there's a better chance we go 0-3 than 3-0.
I agree
So
with
I'm
that.
going to stay away from the 0 and I'm going to stay away from the 3-0 and think 2-1 is the best case. With that being a 2-1 against the 2 ranked teams in Vandy and Florida.
And the best
So
thing about it is whether we win 1 or win 2 or we don't win any at all or even win 3.
there's no bad losses left.
There's no bad losses. They're all quad ones, so that at least helps us. It shouldn't hurt us. If anything, it helps us. So that's
As long as
one
we don't
good
get blown
positive.
out.
You
Right,
just
right.
want to keep some momentum. So win 1 at least somewhere.
Yeah.
Any of these
Yep.
wins will have built some momentum at least.
Absolutely. And that's what we need with this Wildcat team is momentum and consistency. Well, hey, we appreciate y'all listening. Again, make sure to like, subscribe, share with a friend. We appreciate you all. And that's been another episode of Bluegrass State of Mind. As always, go Cats.
Go Cats.
Cats.
That's a wrap for this episode of Bluegrass State of Mind. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Also, be on the lookout for our social media pages and be sure to follow them. We've got plenty more stories, insights, and conversations coming your way. And if you really loved it, make sure to share it with a friend. From the hills to the hollers, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep that Kentucky spirit strong.